Hello and welcome to County Magazine. I'm your host, Melissa Liebart. The holiday season is upon us, and that means lots of good food, decorations, presents, and parties. If you're like most pet owners, you'll include your family pet in many holiday festivities. Now, what you may not realize is that this time of year can be stressful and hazardous to your pet. To help explain some of the dangers for pets this time of year, we have two of our friends from the West Ox Animal Shelter at Camden Fairfax Corner, Michelle Hankins and Rebecca Jewell, also from the shelter. And she will be assisting Michelle with some of the props. How are you both?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Michelle, let's start with Christmas trees. Now, what do pet owners need to know if they plan to have their pets around Christmas trees?
Absolutely. There's a lot of things to think about when you're thinking about a Christmas tree and safety for your pet. The first thing would be pretty obvious to cats. They want to climb these trees, and a lot of times they'll climb up to the top and there's a risk that your tree would fall over. So you want to make sure that you're careful about the stability of the tree, maybe preventing access to the tree for the cat. Also, a lot of times if you have a real tree at the bottom, you might have water or fertilizer at the bottom. That water can have bacteria in it. The fertilizer can make your pet ill, so you want to be sensitive to that and make sure your pets aren't drinking from the water if you have a live tree. As well as the ornaments on the tree, those look like toys to a lot of animals. And then as well, when you have a Christmas tree if you have lights on it, you want to make sure that your animals aren't chewing on the light cords because they can get electric shock, so you want to prevent that.
And what about tinsel or icicles that people put on their trees?
Tinsel, we have some icicles here which are really beautiful when you hang them on the tree. The issue is that pets can eat these and ingest these. A lot of cats like to play with these. They're sparkly, they're shiny, they're light, they bat around, they go in the air, so they become toys to cats. A good alternative if you have pets is to use something like this. It's a bead, a strung bead that has all the shimmer and shine that tinsel might have, but instead it's a string of beads that your cat can't easily ingest or your dog can't easily ingest.
I see Rebecca's holding an adorable little visitor. What's her name and what can you tell us about her?
This adorable kitten is Indy. She is a short-haired tortie cat that came to the shelter. She actually went out into foster so that she could grow and get old enough to be available for adoption. And she is currently available for adoption at the shelter as part of our Home for the Holidays Operation Empty Cage. And that's our effort to get animals into homes and out of the shelter for the holidays.
And what is that she's wearing around her neck?
Indy actually is sporting a collar that says adopted, so she's anxious about being adopted. She's wearing a collar so that around the holiday season, in case she were to get lost, she would have a collar and an identification tag on, so that if she were to end up lost, someone could call that number and reunite her with her owner.
Okay, so when choosing ornaments for our tree, what safety concerns should we be aware of?
You know, a lot of people will tend to have glass ornaments on their tree, but as you can see, glass ornaments can break. A lot of times cats or dogs will actually bat the ornaments. They can fall on the floor and then they can break, and then they get these sharp edges. So you want to make sure that you have ornaments either away from where your pet can bat them and play with them or break them if they're on the tree. Or a great alternative now is they have some really beautiful shatterproof ornaments. They look very similar to traditional glass ornaments, but they come in all shapes, all sizes, all colors, and if they fall, they're shatterproof. They're not going to break, and so they're a lot safer for your pet.
Well, I like to decorate my home with candles. Are there special precautions to consider when we own pets?
Absolutely. With candles, you have a lot of dangers associated with a pet, actually, particularly dogs, even cats. Cats can jump on high surfaces and knock a candle over. A dog can walk past a coffee table and its tail can kind of hit a candle. Harmful, it can be fire safety. So you want to think about that. You have your traditional candles, which are such a part of the holiday tradition, but we're very lucky now in that there are a lot of really gorgeous flameless candles. This is actually a flameless candle that you can turn on. It flickers just like a real candle. It actually is made of wax, and it actually has the the wax drippings pre-made onto the candle, and it looks just like the real thing. It's even got kind of the edges to make it look like it's burned down on its own. You can use those as opposed to the traditional lit candles, and they're much safer with pets. They have them also in very small votive styles, so you can have the votives and you can put those in a candle holder, and again, no threat or no issue with safety for the pets.
Well, those sound like really good alternatives. How about decorative plants? Are specific plants we have in our home this time of year dangerous for pets?
Sure. With regard to plants, you want to make sure that you are sensitive to what you bring in. Most of the plants around the holiday season can be harmful to pets. Some of them are toxic. Some of them are going to cause your pet to have an upset stomach, maybe vomit if they chew on them. And they are very enticing, especially if they're new in the house and your animals are inquisitive about them. So things like holly, mistletoe, poinsettias, all of those can cause stomach upset with your animals if they decide to chew on them. So I would recommend putting them in a place where they're out of reach or where your pets don't have access to them when you're not around, or using like a silk alternative, something that looks just like the real thing. We're very lucky now that we have silk alternatives that look sometimes even better than a real plant. So those can be great alternatives if you have pets.
Michelle, Indy's being really good during the taping. I'm not sure she'll be at the shelter for very long.
She's awful cute. She is just purring away over here.
I understand that most rich foods we enjoy this time of year are really not good for animals.
Absolutely. A lot of times around the holidays, you have things around like chocolate, things that can be very harmful to pets if ingested. Chocolate in particular can be toxic to pets. So you want to make sure that you keep that up and away from them. You also want to make sure that as you're eating, your traditional holiday meals, that your animals aren't getting a lot of extras. The food we eat around the holidays can sometimes be so rich it can make their stomachs upset. So you want to make sure that you kind of keep their diet, maintain their diet, their typical routine. And if you feed them something, some of the rich foods that you might eat over the holidays, keep it in very small and limited quantities.
Everyone has visitors over the holiday. What should pet owners look out for?
Absolutely. When visitors are coming to the house, a lot of times there's a lot of activity, the normal routine has changed dramatically, and pets can become anxious or excited as people are either packing, bringing their luggage in or packing to leave. Pets can become anxious at that time too. They want to go with you and want to make sure they're not left behind. So you want to make sure that as the door is opening, as the luggage is being moved in, and as it's being moved out, that the pets are actually in a location where they can't get out of the door. Maybe they need to be behind a gate so that they can have access to the door, or in a crate. Also with visitors, they can become very excited, very overwhelmed. So sometimes it might be good to think, keep an eye on your pet, and if you see that they're becoming overwhelmed or they're exhausted with all that's going on, maybe putting them in a quiet room or having a crate available where they can just have some downtime and relax and just kind of get away from it all for a little bit.
I see you have someone else with you that's very interested in one of your decorative toys. Are those type of toys safe for our pets?
When you have, around the holidays, a lot of times you can have a lot of different toys and things around. You definitely want to make sure that as you have these types of items around, a lot of times pets don't know the difference between something like this that's meant for a holiday decoration and something that would be a toy for them. But the big difference is like something like this has eyes and a nose that the pet can pull off and ingest. It can cause an obstruction. So you want to make sure that your pet is safe and that these things don't end up with your pet, or have plenty of toys around that are for your pet, that are pet safe, that they can play with so they're not attracted to get to these. Keep the ones that are your holiday decorations up and out of reach of your pets, and give them lots of toys to be distracted with otherwise.
Oh, and I love the sporty collar your other helper's wearing. If people are going to dress their pets up for the holidays, is this the type of collar you'd recommend?
Absolutely. These are so much fun and they're so festive. The nice thing about these types of collars is they're very unobtrusive for the pet. So the pet wears it just like a collar and a lot of times doesn't even know that they have something on there, and they'll forget that they're even wearing something else. And it's not something that covers their whole body, so it doesn't restrict their movement. Such a cute collar and very festive for the holidays.
Michelle, you have a special program going on at the shelter this month. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. We are doing Operation Empty Cage as this year's Home for the Holidays campaign. We're running it through December 31st at the Fairfax County Animal Shelter on West Ox Road. As part of this special adoption, all dogs, cats, and kittens will receive a free spay and neuter as part of their adoption. So they only pay the adoption fee. And we're super excited because our goal is to get all of our cages empty by the holidays. We believe pets belong in the home and not in the shelter during the holiday season.
Michelle and Rebecca, thanks for joining us to talk about holiday safety for pet owners. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Melissa. You too.
For more information about the Home for the Holidays program, contact the West Ox Animal Shelter at 703-830-1100. To view animals available for adoption, stop by and visit the shelter at 4500 West Ox Road.